Hey there, it's your imaginary friend. I just wanted to talk a bit about, I don't know, stuff. You know, um, I had been planning. I guess it's going to be about how this year has gone. I'd been planning to do more videos more often. A whole bunch of life happened. There was a funeral, illness, some house stuff, a couple more illnesses. Um, Eventually, been I've been pretty proud of myself for keeping up with a weekly schedule through all this stuff. Um, and that's really like one of the big reasons that I had started on this project of reading uh, stories from the history of weird fiction as curated by H.P. Lovecraft in his supernatural horror and literature. I'd owned that book for a number of years before actually reading it. Um, I've always, been kind of interested in the subject, but one thing and another, you buy a lot of books you don't get around to reading. But as I was reading it, I thought, like, you know, if I'm looking for stuff to put on a channel, there's a cat, by the way. Her name is Mrs. Cake. She likes to throw things off the table. Really, she has a religious belief that everything should be on the floor. So she's pretty diligent about it. Uh, at any rate, where was I? Talking about supernatural horror and literature, and the reason that I decided to do videos reading the works that H.P. Lovecraft talks about in that. Um, and one of the big reasons was it was kind of daunting to keep up a weekly schedule and come up with ideas for what to do. And so I thought if I'm ever stumped for an idea for what to talk about here, that it'll be good to have a steady stream of content that I could draw on. Um, but then I sort of got wrapped up in it, like thinking like there's a lot here. If I'm gonna do all this, I'll be here for 10 years maybe. So I sort of felt like I really should keep up with it. And so there have been times when I did readings from supernatural horror and literature and the history of weird fiction, um, because I wanted to keep up with that project. But I also have other stuff that I'd like to be talking about. Like I I designed a role playing game. I think that's pretty cool. I'd like to talk about that sometime. I've got more cocktails to talk about. Some of them are Lovecraft themes because we had we have these crazy themed parties, which are also kind of fun to talk about. And one of them is the Booze Hounds of Tindalos, which was Lovecraftian cocktail, which is ironic since he himself was a teetotaler. But he had a lot of strange views, so screw him. But anyway, we made some cocktails. So sometime maybe I'll bring some of those out. Um, and just other things to talk about. There's other things to show you around the house. There's the garden, the closet garden, and how it's wrapped up for winter. Particularly Groot, uh, the banana tree. Hopefully he gets through his first winter and pretty well. Concerned about that. But anyway, I was rambling on about how I had thought that it'd be good if I could do more than one video a week so that I could fit in some of these other things. And then, like I said, life happened around us and didn't really get to do a lot of that stuff. And so, honestly, I've kind of been feeling more lately like I'm your imaginary narrator more than your imaginary friend. Like I haven't really been sharing that much of myself here on the channel because I just there's myself has been kind of stretched thin, if I'm honest. And so I felt like it was important for me to do something where I let people in a little more, because that's really kind of the point of this whole channel was to let people in, to let people make a connection, and having content to fill in the time so that the people have something to come back and see. I think that's important. I think keeping a weekly schedule to be dependable and reliable, something that people know is going to be there. I think that's all important. But yeah, with life and everything, it just hasn't left a whole lot of time for me to come out and really just like, here's me, guys. Like, this is me. Hope you like it. Yeah, that's Mrs. Cake, all right. She found something that wasn't on top of something else. She also loves cardboard boxes, in particular tearing them to bits. Yeah, she's a lovely destroyer, Mrs. Cake. But anyway, so that's pretty much like kind of the ground I wanted to cover. I think I really wanted to just let people know that I am a person back here somewhere. It's just that I've been like a very occupied person here lately, and I just haven't been able to share some of the other stuff that I'd like to share. So I've sort of just become a book reader, which is, fine and good and everything. I think they're great books. Some of these things that I've been reading have been really interesting. Some of them have been terrifying. Some not for the reasons they were intended to be terrifying. What you gonna do? It was the past. It's a terrible place to be. Not that these times are shaping up much better. Sorry about it. But yeah, so there's a whole stuff going on. Our Christmas is kind of postponed because, illness again. So we didn't want to get other people sick. I don't know. It's just a lot. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. And yet here I am still talking because, I don't know, I crave some sort of connection. I feel like I need to reach out and make some connections with people. So hopefully this is just one more little step in that direction. Hopefully somebody sees this and goes, oh yeah, that guy who reads stories is he's more than just a guy who reads stories. So hopefully somebody takes that away. And everybody have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and all of that stuff. And yeah, and a good life. I hope everybody has a good life.